Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be showing you guys these super cute New Year's nails and how I did them. So if you want to see how to get the look, just keep watching. I'm always keep it honest like $100. I'm going to start by removing my previous design, and I'll begin that by pushing back my cuticles. To the spot, you know I open doors. I won't ever blame you 'cause you're innocent. Now on my pointer finger, my bling was in the way, so I got out my huge toenail nippers, which I love to use for bling removal because you will see here that it is so fast and easy to remove the rhinestones off of the nails, so it definitely is my preferred method for removing it.
Hey, this is Zach. Be sure to hit subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss out when Chal uploads new videos. And when you hit subscribe, you'll be part of her polished pride. I got way too many for you to count. I'm saying I'm good at solving them. I won't ever let it get between you and I. Things I do for you, you my Gemini. I'm just trying to be a Leo for you there like every night. Yeah, every night. Hey. We could drive straight to the beach, put your feet on my dashboard. I'ma bring some roses, anything that you ask for. Play a little music if you wanna. Rolling down the window, we can smoke some marijuana. So now that I got all of that removed, I am going to continue pushing back my cuticles. And I'm doing this gently. It does look a little bit rough, but this is sped up, so keep that in mind. You just want to gently push back the cuticles, and when I'm working on someone else, I tend to do like smaller pushes, like multiple pushes, rather than just pushing the way I do on myself. So on myself, I can feel exactly where I need to stop, but on someone else, I kind of go backwards and forwards a few times, and then I kind of move from side to side doing it like that.
Then she met me at the college. Her friends play my songs and they've been following me. Yeah, I don't like to do that much explaining.
So I'm going to get into color removal, and I am using this tornado bit. Of course, I will have everything that I'm using linked in the description box down below for you guys. So I'm starting on a pretty high setting with this one, and I made sure to put out my dust collector because that definitely does help. But with this bit, I do work at probably about 20,000 RPMs. It does glide across the surface of the nail a lot better when you're working at a higher speed, and then you don't need any pressure. All you have to do is just glide it across the surface and it removes that color so beautifully. Now on my thumb, I am doing this in real time so you guys can see exactly how long it takes me to remove the color. And then on the next nail that I show you, I will have that sped up a bit. So I just wanted to give you guys a little update. I know I have not been on and uploading nearly as often, and I appreciate your guys' patience with me. I have been in nail school, and I've been loving it. I'm so excited. I've got about 3 weeks left, and then I will graduate. We're actually on our holiday break right now, so we go back on the 4th of January, and then I'll have, well, 2.5 to 3 weeks before I graduate. So I'm super excited about that. And one of the girls that I go to school with is opening a salon, so I will be booth renting from her. And then eventually my husband and I will open our own salon, which is super exciting, but I'm really glad I am able to work with someone that I've made friends with. Just really, really exciting time. Of course, when I first get into the salon, I will not have a full clientele whatsoever, so I am going to be taking that time to film more videos for you guys so I can post a few times a week. At least while my schedule is somewhat empty. Okay, so back to what I am doing. I am just using my 180 grit peel and stick Tammy Taylor file, and I first kind of tighten up the sidewalls. I have eggshell nails, so they grow downward sloping. So anytime I do a fill, I need to make sure I raise those sidewalls back up so that they're even with my natural sidewalls. And then I just smooth over the surface of the nail very quickly. And then I am moving into using a medium grit sanding band at about 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs. And I'm using that right along the cuticle area to remove any of the cuticle and protein buildup. And then, of course, removing the shine off my natural nail. And then I will just follow through over the surface of the nail just to make sure it's nice and smooth before moving into my next step. This is a fine grit ball bit, and I do use this instead of nipping my cuticles. So this is in real time, so you guys can see exactly how long it takes me. But I use this one at probably 10 to 12,000 RPMs, and I do use quite a bit of pressure. Now my e-file doesn't have like a digital display to tell me the RPMs, but I just know based on what it feels like, because I have had e-files in the past that do tell me that exact number, but based on feel, it's probably about 10 to 12,000 RPMs. And I use a bit of pressure because if you kind of use like no pressure at all and you just move it across the surface of the cuticle area and the eponychium, then it actually creates more irritation, and because it doesn't take off the skin as fast. So if you just use a bit more pressure, then it will remove all of the dead skin and it won't build up that irritation, and you'll get a much cleaner, more pleasant outcome.
The way that you say my name, I know, but he's there. No, no. You say it's alright. Take your space if you need a break.
So we are done with all of our prep steps, and now I wanted to show you guys the light that I will be using to cure the products today. This is a gorgeous kind of rose gold colored UV lamp. It's 128 watts, and it comes with a 6-foot cord, which I super appreciate because it seems like there's never a wall outlet close enough, right? So that was sent to me for review, and I've been using it a little while before this video just to test it out, and I do love it, especially how it looks. So I will go ahead and leave the link for that down below for you guys. So I made sure to use my Young Nails swipe to clean off all of the dust from my nails, and now I'm just going to go in with the protein bond. The first layer, I do apply the protein bond over the entire surface of the nail because I'm going to be using gel today. These extensions were acrylic, so I do like to apply the protein bond over the entire surface. And then for the second coat, I just apply it around the cuticle on the new growth area. That way we can make sure that I'm not going to have any lifting. Since I'm going to be working with gel today, I'm going to start with the Young Nails Synergy Base Gel. And I'm going to take a little bit of that and work it into my brush because my brush I had just cleaned. It was a bit stiff from my last use. So I cleansed it with some swipe, and then I just work back the base gel into the bristles just to make sure that it's nicely primed for use. And then I just use a very small amount of the base gel and a good amount of pressure with my brush and work it over the surface of the entire nail. I just showed a couple nails, not necessary to show more than a couple, and then cured it for 60 seconds. And I'm going to use the Precision applicator in the concealer blush, and I'm going to work that over the nail. I start by squeezing out quite a bit of product, and I kind of use the tip of the nozzle to pillow the gel back towards the cuticle area, and then I continue squeezing while working the gel down the body of the nail. I'm not worried at this point about it being completely smooth, because I am going to come back with a brush and just make sure I get everything nice and tight around the cuticle and sidewalls, and then I kind of smooth out the surface of the nail. This was my first time working with their precision applicator, so I wasn't quite used to the application yet, but it did get easier for me as I went. At first I found that like the nozzle tip was a little bit bulky to get back in that cuticle area, but by about the pinky nail I was able to get it applied very evenly and didn't have to use my brush to even it out or anything, and I didn't have to on my other hand either. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting used to the application method. And I am just making sure that I get it as smooth as possible while keeping the structure correct. And then I will give that a flash cure of about 15 seconds. I went and applied the product to all the nails and gave it a 60-second cure. And then I cleansed and filed off camera, and we will get right into the design. So because I'm going to be using gel polish, I am applying a layer of protein bond over the entire surface of the nail, and that way I can ensure that I'm not going to have any chipping or peeling of my gel polish. So now I'm going to go in with my Manicu Black 101, and I'm going to apply 2 coats of this on 4 of the nails. I had to look down and check how many I had applied. So I make sure when I'm doing my first layer that I leave it pretty thin, and I get as close to the cuticle as I can without getting super close in there. I feel like because of that protein bond, if I try to get really tight against the cuticle on my first layer, sometimes it can flood the cuticle and sidewalls. So I just try to get it nice and tight, and then I worry about getting it in there precisely on my second coat. So I make sure that I am covering all of the sidewalls and the very tip, and then it's a 30-second cure for the Manicu gels. And so now I'm just going to go in with my second layer, which is now the time that I'm going to make sure that I'm getting super, super close to the cuticle, just a hairline away, and on the sidewalls as well. And then I'll follow through on the surface of the rest of the nail. No, I'm not a all-nighter. Nothing ever seems to last. So now I'm going to go in with the One Step Gel Drop the Mic, again by Young Nails. I guess I didn't realize that this video was almost exclusively Young Nails products, but that's okay. They make great products. So I'm going to do a glitter fade with this. So I am just applying a good amount of product back along the cuticle and then leaving kind of a little bit extra right along the transition area. And I'm going to use my slanted stippling brush to tap the glitter and work my way down as I tap. I really, really like this brush for ombre. I believe I got it at Red Iguana, but I will double check and leave a link down below. So I'm just going to continue to tap and move my brush down as I'm tapping. And it's going to give me a beautiful glitter fade. Now these One Step gels are a no wipe gel because they have the base and top coat in them. So it normally is a 60-second cure and then it's good to go after that. But because I'm adding a second layer, if you just do a 30-second cure, it leaves it just slightly tacky enough that you're not going to have any peeling or chipping issues. So 30-second cure, go in with your second layer and do it exactly the same way, applying the bulk of the product towards the cuticle area, and then I finish it off just slightly behind where I did previously, and then I use my brush to work it down the nail, and I do bring it down a little bit further this time. So now I'm going to go in with this Connie Mud Gel in black. I absolutely love this. You can use it as like a nail art gel or for painting the nail like a full color. So I'm going to do it in both ways right now. I'm going to use it to create a French deep smile line on this nail. So I start by just applying dots on the side of the nail, and then I put a dot down in the center of the nail. Now the dots on the side of the nail, that's how high I want my lines to come up, and the dot in the center of the nail is how deep I want that smile line to be. And I turned my hand around when I did that so that I can make sure it's going to be straight with the tip of the nail. And then I'm using my liner brush just to pull the gel from those top points down to meet that bottom dot. It's hard to explain, but easier to watch. So I'm using my liner brush to round off my smile line. And then once I get that exactly how I like it, then I will use a flat brush to paint the rest of the surface. But before I paint on the rest of it over the tip of the nail, I am going to flash cure the smile line, and that way if I happen to shake or get bumped or whatever, if I mess up and I go outside of that smile line, then it will be cured in place so I can wipe away where I accidentally went over the line, and it won't ruin my smile line. So basically lay down your smile line, give it a flash cure, then you can go in and paint on the rest of the full cover nail.
You said you didn't mean it, that you went too far, trying to act like you forgot. You're acting like I'm crazy, like I made this up, but baby, I think not. All those late night conversations when you said you want my heart, and you think I'm so amazing, you don't like being apart. You told me you miss me, and you need me, that you love more than my body. I caught you off guard, you falling real hard. Well, sorry, I'm not sorry. You're gonna act like you ain't saying. You're gonna act like it's a lie. You're trying to play with my emotions, but that drink bit doesn't lie.
So now I'm going to do my second layer just to make sure I've got really good coverage and color. And I did decide that I wanted my smile line to come up just slightly deeper. So I brought it up a little bit more, and then I'm using a cleanup brush, just dampened with some swipe to clean that area up. And then I'm going to follow down and make sure that that's nice and straight with the rest of the nail. And then I'm going to go around and kind of tighten up my smile line just a little bit more. I did end up cleaning it up in that first application, so there was a little bit of kind of blurriness almost, where it faded a little bit from where I had wiped it away. So using that precise brush to really crispen it up, it really does make a really big impact. Even though it seems like such a small thing, it does make a difference. And then I'm just going to finish with a second coat of that color over the rest of the French tip, and I will give a full 60-second cure when I'm done.
Here we go, it's all about you, it's all about me, it's all about what we do.
So this is how both of the nails were looking. I did not want to attempt a French with my left hand, so I just painted that nail with the glitter, that same drop the mic color. And now I'm going to use my gem gel and some rhinestones to add some bling. I've been liking using my gem gel on a micro swab. It just gives me a more precise application. And with this one, because I am just adding the 2 rhinestones on the French nail, I'm going to flip my hand back and forth a couple of times just to make sure that the stones are pointing straight. That way they're not offset or wonky. And then once they are straight, I'm just going to use a cleanup brush just to fade out the edges of that gem gel. And then I will give it a 15-second flash cure, and we'll go into the next nail, which I am going to stud with AB crystal rhinestones. So I'm just putting down dots of my gem gel, and then I will sink in some SS3 AB rhinestones. And then I will give a full 60-second cure before going in for top coat.
We gotta keep going and hope for the best. Walking the streets, just you and me. Trying to fill the void, trying not to bleed. Sometimes life just moves too slow. You gotta find a reason to push it and go. You know we're trying our best to be a success. We're living our life trying to clean up the mess. Cause I'm stuck in this route, day in, day out. Thoughts come in but nothing comes out. I'm still trying to feel on top. Wishing all the shit would just come to a stop.
Okay, stain resistant top coat by Young Nails, my very favorite top coat and hands down my go-to. I use it for my hairdresser clients because their nails always get stained if I use anything else. So I use this and then I never have a problem. And I prefer to use it on myself as well because it's like a hard gel. You can't soak it off. It has to be e-filed off because I'm pretty sure it's like a very thin viscosity hard gel. But because of that, when I'm working on my clients, it doesn't scratch or dull nearly as easy as it does if it was just any other standard top coat. So I absolutely love and recommend it. I'm going to top coat all of the nails and then I will show you how I do my rhinestone nails with top coat. Okay, so for my rhinestone nails, it is very, very important to make sure that the rhinestones are capped around the edges with some of the top coat. Otherwise, they will pop off. So I'm going to use the brush that comes in the bottle to get as close to the cuticle and sidewalls, and then up and around the sides of the rhinestones. Just using a cleanup brush to remove anything that hit the skin, and making sure I'm capping the sidewalls and tip. And then I'm going to use a very small detail brush to get that top coat right around the rhinestones, behind them and in between them. I'm not putting any of this on top of the rhinestones because that will make them lose their shine, but I'm making sure that that little edge that they have is being capped with the top coat. That way you're not going to lose any rhinestones. They are going to stay in place for as long as you wear them. So for this one, because it's studded, I am dropping bits of top coat in between each of the rhinestones. And then on the sidewalls, I am just bringing my brush kind of around and between the rhinestones. Then I'm going to use my really tiny detail brush to work those drops that I had applied in between and around each of the rhinestones. Again, making sure that I'm using that to really cap the entire edge of the piece, but not getting on top of it. And then I'm just going to attempt to get the top coat as smooth as I can before giving it its final 60-second cure. Now, when I'm working on a client, I top coat all of their nails and then put them in the lamp. But when I'm working on myself, I do 5-second flash cures in between. That way I can make sure that no top coat is going to move or flood the sidewalls or cuticle while I'm working on the next nail. Then I give it a 60-second cure at the end. I wipe off that sticky inhibition layer and then we're done. Now, I did notice that when I'm working with a top coat such as this, where it has that inhibition layer that needs to be removed after, look at that thumbnail there and you can kind of see it doesn't look super, super shiny. Like, it's shiny, but not high shine, okay? But what I've found is that if you apply cuticle oil kind of in excess on your cuticle and sidewalls and then rub it down over the surface of the nail, and then I take a lint-free wipe and buff the surface of the nail so that it's removing any of that cuticle oil, it creates the highest shine, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So as I'm applying this, take a look at the shine of the nails, and then once I rub it in and buff it off, just pay attention because you will see it becomes so much more shiny. Okay, I got that all rubbed in, so I'm going to take my lint-free wipe and really buff the nails with that cuticle oil. It's going to remove any excess and leave behind a super high shine, which you will see here in just a moment. That is just about it, guys. Let me know what you think of the look down below, and let me know if you learned any tips or tricks, and if you saw a difference in the amount of shine before and after the cuticle oil. I definitely can tell a difference. Of course, as always, if you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for different sets, let me know down below. I love to hear from you guys. Be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!